don't get a big hit about this. As a content creator, I really don't see myself as a real influencer. At least not currently. I don't have a real following where I can really influence the hobby overall. In my opinion, someone with even like 10,000 followers is not a real influencer. I look at people like Matt Colville or Matt Mercer, and I go, they're influencers, even if you don't like them. Their following allows them to have real influence on the hobby overall. Do you know what is sort of weird, but not really weird? It's almost expected. That there are other smaller YouTubers that seem to think they have more influence than they actually do. And even more strange, they look at me, they look at my content like I have influence, like it has influence that it doesn't. And then they come after me as if I'm having a really, really bad effect or some type of effect on the hobby overall. I'm barely having any effect. I get a few people that will listen to me. Maybe in 5 or 10 years, when some people have heard me out, maybe I lead somebody to playing the game or running games or whatever, you'll see some people that will say, hey, I watched this guy Condor years ago, and that's what got me into it. And I'll be happy to have that type of influence on the hobby. And I would like to have more influence, but right now I don't. And it is weird having people react to me as if I do. It's not me with the big head. It's just some people seem to think I have a big head, and then somehow they react to my content like I do have influence. Like I'm a concern to them, and they need to confront what I am doing. Don't get it wrong. There are circles, small areas within the hobby where people can influence each other. There's a small audience that you can influence. But it doesn't mean that you have influence on the overall hobby just because you can harm another content creator that is small like you. Or even if you can benefit them, it isn't saying that you have an overall influence, right? Matt Mercer has an influence on the hobby overall, right? We don't. And I'm guilty as some of you to reacting to some nonsense that I shouldn't react to. There's another YouTuber that I put out a video on not too long ago known as Shauner. I was reacting to one of his many, reactions to my content where he says terrible things about my content and terrible things about me, which he does to a lot of people, but he has no real influence. And usually I don't react to him. So when I did react to him, I realized, I went overboard. That was a stupid move. I took the video down. Because he has no real influence. So why even bother, hitting back at him for what he's saying about me? If he had influence, I would take him more serious, but sorry, he doesn't. So, why bother with that drama? There's a lot of people that put out content about me that I don't react to. I react to a little bit of it, some of it, not much. There's a lot more out there than you'll see me reacting to, I guarantee it. A lot of drama that you see around smaller tabletop role-playing game content creators comes from huge egos where people think they are something they are not. They think they are big because they have an audience, right? Oh, you'll hear them occasionally say, we have fans, stuff like this. They'll laughingly say it, but trust me, they believe it, and their heads get really huge. And they'll talk about, I did this, I said this, people copied me on this. And I'm like, even if they did, it still means nothing, right? You're not an influencer like Matt Colville or Matt Mercer. Again, it's not that, I'm a big fan of these two people. I just accept that they have an actual audience, big enough that it spreads across the hobby enough that they can influence, the overall hobby in many ways, to the point where people that don't even follow them has to cover some of the things that they do, or feel the need to cover some of the things they do because some of the things they do are hot. It's going to make for good content, so some people are going to go after that stuff that don't even like these people. That's real influence, right? These people are not copying us, or at least not openly, right? They're not coming to us in the same way that we go to them. And in many cases, the big egos ruin people at the bottom because they don't realize that they have, there's a certain expectation of being a professional, a certain behavior if you want to be at the top. And many people at the bottom don't offer out that behavior. They don't show that. They don't represent themselves that way. And so a lot of people walk away thinking, no, I don't need to come on your stream or come talk to you, right? Let alone you're not that important. Even if you could be important, you don't have the attitude for it. You're not right for it. And why does that happen? Because instead of people being more humble about who they really are and trying to get somewhere, they have huge egos. So they say, I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it. Well, if you want to go to the top, you can't just do it the way you want to do it. And if you're okay at the bottom, well, then accept that you're at the bottom. You're not going to cheat the system and go to the top just behaving the way that you want to. If more content creators and the audience were more real about what's going on here, more realistic about who they are, and more realistic about expectations they have given the reality of their situation, there'd be a lot less drama, and people's situation would probably improve. Being humble would probably make people make better decisions, and they'd be farther up that ladder that they're trying to climb than they are right now. But hey, with huge egos, a warped audience, this is what you get. Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.